All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Sean with BlueRidgeSilverhound. Welcome this evening. All right, so this video is going to be quite interesting. I wanted to take a moment to talk about a few of what I like to call the best singular resources to find certain coins. The three that we're going to talk about in this video is going to be the Brilliant Uncirculated Roll, or BU roll for short. There's also the BU bag, or sealed mint sewn bag. And then third, we're also going to explore the world of mint and proof sets. Now, each specific sealed item will represent a different type of hunting desire. Okay, there's going to be different things that you're going to search for in a BU roll than you normally would with a mint sewn bag, and then compare that to the proof and mint set. All right, again, they're all going to represent different things you're going to look for. So it's probably worth talking about, so that way, if you're new to the hobby and you want to take advantage of hunting through some original material, which one's the best for you for what you ultimately want to achieve. So that way you don't end up wasting your money at the end, because there's a few of these options, my friends, that are very high on, you've probably heard this saying, high risk, high reward scale, and again, based off of what you're buying and what your ultimate collecting motivation is going to be. It might not be collecting at all. It might be, okay, I want to convert this product into more money. All right, and there's no harm in doing that. But what exactly does it offer that can ultimately get you to your goal, right? So the first one we're going to look at is the BU roll. All right, so the BU roll has been a term that has been used for decades. Most notably, starting right from the dealer network. I can remember, as recent as the 1980s, you could walk into any coin shop, and one of the most affordable items that you could buy at a coin shop, large or small, is a BU roll. And then oftentimes they're going to be rolls that are of a newer date. Let's say if it was the year 1990 right now, more than likely you're going to have BU rolls from the last 20 years at a coin shop. BU rolls have been all over the place, even today, with the amount of searching that people have gone through of original Brilliant uncirculated rolls. There's still a lot to find, all right? And a few of the things that you can find out of BU rolls, and two very top items to be on the lookout for, are varieties and high grades. High grade, kind of like top pop type of coins that you could send off to PCGS or NGC in the hopes that they are going to come back at at a high grade. To kind of get this point out of the way, the reason why that BU rolls is most attractive to a lot of people when it comes to high-grade coins is that, and we're going to get down to a coin here, or a roll that is the best kind of representative of what a BU roll is, because these Morgan dollar rolls and stuff, they're not all original. It's just 20 uncirculated Morgans that were stuffed into a modern day tube. That's not indicative of an original BU roll that maybe came from a bank or maybe has a Federal Reserve stamp on there. So this lot right here of 1980D and 1981 Philadelphia Lincoln cents, which are all rolled up. There's 200 rolls of 50, 10,000 pennies all together. This is more along the lines of what you should be looking for. Maybe not specifically this lot right here, but if you could take a look at just the inventory that you're buying here, you have to make sure that it's that it's packaged from either an armor car service or a Fed Reserve system. They'll do their own packing like this. They're either going to send it out in rolls or in loose coin format, which we're going to show you here momentarily. Now, again, keep in mind graded coins. Okay, we're trying to aim for top pop. That's where a lot of money has been flowing lately, because the registry set scene has been really hot in the last 10 years. So the point I was laboring to make here is that the big reason why BU rolls are extremely attractive to people who are looking for these top-end graded coins is that you have all these coins that are tightly packaged in these paper rolls, and they've sat that way for years, maybe even decades. And you have to figure the coins that don't have the opportunity to move around, okay, will exhibit some of the lightest kind of hits. Bag marks is what they like to call it. There's a reason why they call it bag marks. I'll show you here in a second. But the coins are not going to move. Sure, they're still touching, but the coins aren't moving at all. And that's why a lot of people love going through these rolls. And that's the big reason why that a lot of original older rolls, from as recently as 30 years ago, they're drying up in the marketplace. There's just not as many to be found these days. And most people are cherry picking through them. So that's kind of like the big attractive selling point of BU rolls for the graded scene. Now, going back to varieties, because I told you guys varieties is one of those things that people like to go through on these coins. If you could pinpoint a box of these sealed rolls, and it's one of the premier dates for varieties, like let's say, and I'm just going to go ahead and throw out a date because I know that these rolls are few and far between out there anymore. 1960 Denver Lincoln Cent rolls. If you could find original BU rolls, or maybe some of the older generation, what I like to call refrigerator rolls, they're the rolls, the plastic tubes that were used that were not very safe on the coins, and then with enough heat, they actually tighten up and shrink right around the coins. You would have to, you hear all sorts of different tricks on how to break away this tube so you could safely get the coins out. But the one that you hear a lot of was put it in the freezer, so that way that plastic gets really hard. If you were able to pinpoint one of these marquee dates, like a 60D or a 72 Philadelphia, or maybe a 1984, to look for those doubled ear Lincolns. These are obviously going to be specific dates with a lot of varieties that are going to be highly coveted. All right. Not saying that you want to crack open the rolls unless you're kind of a gambler and you really do like hunting for these varieties. That's why you would do it. But overall, most people would say there's a lot more value of just keeping them sealed. Some of these rolls sell for anywhere from about $8 to $10 to as high as a few $100s. It really depends on date. So, again, identifying specific dates or decades that you want to hunt through that are rich in repunchment marks, double dies, transitionals, and things of that nature are certainly not only going to be the way to go, but they're obviously going to be the most rewarding at the end, because that 1960D Lincoln Cent roll is going to offer up a lot more possibility with the dozens of various RPMs that you could find in there than any other date. All right. That's the BU roll. That's kind of like the main attractive selling point for these. Now, when you're identifying BU rolls, okay, so I kind of went from the most expensive all the way down, stuff that's active right now that you could purchase. I mean, you're going to see a lot of what I like to call kind of like the fluff or the fake listings. These are all kind of like staged groupings of coins, that's making you believe that it's an original BU roll set, but it's not. Like this makes me cringe. 1930, a lot of 50. Of course, we know that there's 50 pennies in a roll, so they're making you believe that this is a full original roll of Lincoln BU cent coins. But look at the way that they're all staged. Okay, you're certainly not going to go through that roll there to look for these premier high-end coins based off of the image, because when they're all scattered around like that in a pile, you know, they're not being as delicate or gentle when they're staging these coins. You know, and at $2,000, man, this listing needs a whole lot more help in the salesmanship department, because a lot of these coins look brown and red brown. So this one right here, I would certainly avoid. That listing right there offers nothing to me in return other than a lot of heartache, because that's going to be $2,000 of a what I like to consider a semi common type of date. Again, is going to be one in which you're going to piss away all your money at the end of the day. So you're going to continue to skip through a lot of these Morgan dollars. That seems to be a thing that you know, people were doing about 15, 20 years ago at the early stages of eBay. People were putting together these 20 coin rolls of Morgans, and they were all in nice shape, but they're all also very common dates. And you know, at one point they were selling them for $200, $300, $400 a coin. You know, and imagine like an 1880s or an 82 or, you know, something like that. It's just not worth it. But we're going to get to a point where we're going to see our first BU roll. I don't trust anything that this guy sells as BU. These are all manufactured, put together rolls. Sure, you're going to get nice coins in there, but, you know, at the end of the day, I don't want to cherry pick someone else's trash. You know, it's really easy to wrap these to give them the appearance that they are authentic, and then do the artificial distressing on the actual wrappers to give them age. You got to make sure you're buying the legit stuff. Stuff like this, I'm not trusting them at all. But, you know, just to give you an idea, there's not a whole lot out there, especially things for over $1,000. A lot of just fluff, you know. And again, this is showing you the scarcity of purely untouched original material. It says unsearched bankroll, okay, double BU VDBNs. I wouldn't trust this. You know, this looks like something that was put together, you know, a really modern masterpiece, I guess, or marvel of trying to take your money away. You know, they'll put two VDB enders, and then psychologically you're thinking, ooh, what if they're 1909 SVDBs, you know? Or, you know, they'll give you the two roll enders that are VDBs. What if the whole roll is 1909 VDBs in BU condition? You know, it really leaves a lot to the imagination, but also these sellers are taking advantage of the gambler's fallacy, where, you know, a lot of people have this kind of like gambling mentality of how they're willing to risk it all, you know, in the hopes of hitting it big. And you could hardly hit it big with these. Again, that's more heartache there. But again, you know, it all starts with finding a roll that seems very innocent at first glance, and probably is. You know, it's not going to be a Morgan roll. It's going to be something, you know, like something like this 1938D Unk BU roll of Jefferson Nichols. This, ladies and gentlemen, is something that has just a little bit of opportunity. Now, it's not in an original bank wrap type of roll, but these are you know, 40 1938D Jeffersons, which is a semi-tougher date of coin. I mean, look at these. They look to be in really nice shape. And I would imagine that, you know, if there's maybe a reverse of 1938 in here, one that has full steps that could grade really high, you know, this one right here, you know, this would attract some people. And, you know, the cool thing is you can make an offer, and, you know, there's a little flexibility here. But when you get to these BU rolls, or any one of the three type of sealed products that I'm talking about today, always search through the seller's store. Search through their feedback. The thing that you're going to identify is, are they looking for specific varieties or errors? Okay, number one. Number two, are they grading their coins? Are they sending out their pristine pieces to one of the top graders and then reselling them? They're obviously going to sell it through their main eBay store. All right, so if you say, for example, see this 38D roll here and you really like it, all right, go into the seller's store and kind of snoop around, because guess what? If they have like, a 1938 D graded mint state 67 with full steps in there, that kind of proves a point, right? That maybe these were cherry picked for those high grades, and you shouldn't touch these with a 10-foot pole. So yeah, BU rolls, they're fun, but boy, they are quite scarce unless you have like a local source, whether it's a coin shop that still sells BU rolls that haven't been looked through. I know a lot of coin shops in my area have BU rolls from about the last 20 years that have never been opened because they're just not interested in looking for certain things. That might, open a door of possibility for you to go in and, crack open a specific statehood quarter roll for the hopes of finding, maybe a pristine in God We Rust Kansas quarter, things like that. So again, really doing your homework and, kind of doing your shopping, most notably somewhere local that you could pick up the roll and take a look at it without trying to open it or anything, and just kind of, give your best assessment of the product, all right, which on eBay, that's kind of hard to do. But at the very least, you do know what kind of stuff you should be looking for in a BU roll. And by the way, the term BU, brilliant uncirculation, has kind of fallen out of favor with a lot of the, some of the more modern grading guys. They don't like that generic terminology for a mid-state condition coin. So, the BU roll certainly isn't going to go anywhere as far as a terminology or a coin speak kind of verbiage. But, just to let you know, there's probably going to be guys out there that's going to give you a hard time. You're like, oh, these are, it's not BU, it's mid-state, and all that. Potato type deal. All right, so the next thing that we're going to have to look through, another thing to consider, is going to be these original mint sewn bags. And you have to be absolutely careful because some of these have been opened, they have been searched through. But, if you know what you're looking for, you're going to be in good shape. Like if we started right at the top, I put BU penny bag, by the way, but you could put BU nickel bag. You could do dime bag, haha, very funny, quarter bag. Penny bag, there's just more searches. So we have a sealed original mint bag, 1973 as San Francisco Lincoln cent. 5,000 coins. It looks like it came right direct from the, in this case, looks like it came right directly from the assay office of San Francisco. It's even dated 1973. I like this one a lot more. However, here's the caveat. 73S doesn't produce a whole heck of a lot of great possibilities other than high grades. And guess what? That's not one of the strong suits of a mint-sewn bag. Do not go through a mint-sewn bag if you're looking for that top pop mid-state 67 plus Lincoln cent. You're just not going to find it because these coins are loose in the bag. So for many years and decades, the coins have sloshed around. They've hit each other. They've marked each other up. Over time, the coins will be in pretty rough shape. Sure, they're still going to be brilliant uncirculated or mint state or however you want to term it as. But the idea that you're going to go through these bags to identify a mid-state 67 and up coin is just going to be impossible based off of that those things. So what are we looking for in these bags? We're going to be looking for mint errors and more varieties. Varieties seems to be something that's kind of universal across all three of the things we're going to talk about today. That's a given. However, these gnarly mint errors, man, off-center strikes, broad strikes, double struck coins, and all the other insane things that you can think of and have seen on the open market, all right, are being pushed in through these mint-sewn bags. So let's go ahead and take a look at this first one here. It's got a lot of their original ties on there. This rope right here, or whatever the twine is that's being used, looks pretty good. It's got the lead crimp on there, along with that blue plastic piece, which, oftentimes you're going to have to see that all on there. Now, again, that's something that can be manipulated to open the bag up and search through. That's just the case for a lot of these, especially the much older material that use the lead crimp and then the plastic shield piece. So it's something to keep an eye out on, be aware of, because most times, if you're going to buy these from a dealer, they're yours. Okay, you're a keeper. You're not going to be able to return it as easily because it's so expensive. Number one, and you're going to come across dealers that say, well, nah, I can't take returns on this because there's the off chance that you probably opened it. All right, and that's true. So 1973S offers no really stimulating varieties. Nothing that's going to wow you. But there might be a slight opportunity for a mid-error, okay? Maybe a cud. 73S, there's a few cuds on there that you could find. But that's really about it. San Francisco Mint is generally known for better quality. Same with Denver. But it doesn't completely rule them out of being able to find some of the premier errors out there, all right? So going back to some of the other listings, here's a mint sealed bag. This is actually sewn. It's got the drawstring. This one I trust a little bit more actually than the one above it. Again, but we're talking about a date that's really not that fun to search through. It really isn't. 73S is kind of a ho-hum year. Now, if it was like a 70S or a 69S, but believe me, a 69S mint sewn bag will be many thousands of dollars. These are going to be coins that are going to have a lot more wow factor, all right, because of the date, and the varieties to look for. So there's a number of 73S's. This one I would trust least because it's written on there, and it's got a different date on the back. It's got 1967. So this was searched through and then transferred over to a different bag. Here's a 69S. 2,500 piece, $25 face value. Again, I wouldn't trust this because I don't believe they actually released $25 face value penny bags back in the day. So keeping on going down here. I like these two, 89P and 89D. Original, they have the mint sewn thread in there, and again, that's something that you want to see from these. So that's what the bag looks like. More modern than anything else. So this is a 89. And when we get to the part that has the stitching, all right, you want to make sure there's a single stitch and you're not seeing holes of where a previous stitch used to be. All right, and then oftentimes these bags are going to have a drawstring at the end. All right, and it's got kind of like a figure eight weaving on there, so you need to make sure it has that. So this one has the drawstring still intact there. The bag appears to not have been opened. But here's the problem. 1989P, again, another kind of like ho-hum date to look through. Sure, it is, it is, right? The last date in which you could find RPMs because in 1990, they actually put the mint mark as a part of the master hub, all right? And then all the other working dies would work off of that one master hub with the mint mark already on there, whereas before that, from 89 and earlier, the mint mark was added to the working die with a hand punch on those. So, yeah, again, very attractive looking bag here, but again, 1989 doesn't really, excite anyone because there's not a lot of varieties. You could find some like off-center strikes, but again, you could pick up a really nice BU specimen of an 89 broad strike or off-center strike for right around $20 online right now. Okay, so yeah, it doesn't represent a very big return on your investment. And again, you wouldn't go through the mint sewn bags to look for high-end registry set quality or caliber pieces. You would just leave that alone here. All right, and then finally, the last thing that we're going to look at here is going to be mint sets. Okay, so mint sets has a few different applications. One of which that you cannot find in mint sets are going to be errors. Now, you can find packaging errors, which, while yes, it happened at the mint, they're not classified as being errors in the truest sense of they occurred during the striking process. Those are typically just referred to as packaging errors. Maybe they put 2 Lincoln cents in there of the same date and mint mark, or something to that effect. But mint sets give you the opportunity to look for, again, more high-end registry set style coins. And then number 2, varieties. Again, varieties. There's going to be a few certain varieties that you could cherry pick out of mint sets and proof sets, but you can't cherry pick out of anything else. So yeah, mint sets. Some would even speculate that the coins were white gloved during the process of assembling these mint sets, and they could be, which means there's going to be a lot less human error that's going to cause more damage to the coins during the pack out process. So with that being said, I do know of people that have successfully converted coins inside of a mint set into high grades. That mint state 67 or that 67 plus or higher, and have done really well. And then the cool thing is, with the mint sets, is that they can be very affordable. All right, depends on the date range, the age that you buy these at. Sometimes you'll come across a few coins that have really pretty toning. With the proof sets, you can look for deep cameo coins and things of that nature. So they can be affordable, but once you get into some of the dates that have silver in them, that's where it kind of gets a little bit pricey. It's almost as if it's an open door policy to ask a lot more money for them, way above what the silver melt value is in certain cases. So don't be duped for those. Don't pay like $40 for a 64 mid set. That's just asinine to me. But really, just do your homework, find out what's out there, and then go about it civilly. But yeah, varieties is always a good one. If you have a cherry picker's guide, it's always good to consult with that, because there are certain varieties like the 71D DDO that can only be found, or that are generally found in mint sets. All right, that's the FS 101, I believe, or 102, one of the two. Can only be found in mint sets with enough regularity that it keeps the prices pretty affordable for the varieties. But always fun to go through, especially to cherry pick high grade specimens. If not to grade at PCGS or NGC, but to add one to your album, mint sets are certainly kind of cool in that regard. Again, like I said, very affordable. So those are the 3 main items that you could cherry pick or go through. Again, ranging from the ultra expensive, the mid-sewn bag, going all the way down to mint and proof sets, which are a lot more affordable. And keep in mind, always do research on what you intend to find out there, okay? Because each one's they give you the best shot at something, all right? And if you know that's something, that X factor, the intangible item or whatever it is, the intangibles, that you're going to do really well, okay? Because you could easily waste money doing this and not getting the results you deserve. So that's what I wanted to talk about. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Thank you again so much for all of your support and views and all that great stuff. It has been tremendous. This was a very fun video to talk about some of the coins that you can find out there. But also, it's trying to keep it affordable for some people while everything else has been getting so expensive. So this coin collecting thing, the shtick, doesn't have to be too expensive. It doesn't have to be named the hobby of kings, because that would suck. All right, don't do that. But that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for this one. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you enjoyed the content and the video and the channel and all that great stuff, your extra support will go a long way for building me up for the future and to provide more content for you. So that's going to go ahead and do it, guys. You guys have a wonderful evening. Enjoy this video, and I will see you on the next one. So long, my friends.